Good evening. Thanks for joining us. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguela. It's another World Blood Donor Day, and Nigeria is using the occasion to enlighten citizens on the 10-year strategic plan to meet the rising need for safe blood for those who may be in need. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim reports.
14th of June, the world marks Blood Donor Day to enlighten the public on the importance of voluntary donation of this essential natural gift the humans need to survive. That explains the establishment of agencies like the National Blood Transfusion Service to manage the blood banks. 39-year-old Nathan is one of the people that have made blood donation a habit.
Inspiration is putting somebody's mind on his face, giving somebody another hope to live.
Nigeria is strengthening her systems to ensure adequate and safe blood in the blood banks for use at any time required.
Tell governments and agencies of governance to provide requisite infrastructure, personnel and equipment that will ensure the collection, the screening, the processing and monitoring of blood and blood products.
NBTS is in close collaboration with critical stakeholders to ensure the implementation of the 1 million Safe Blood Units initiative in order to achieve adequate non-remunerated blood donation.
With the global community marking the 2021 edition of the Blood Donor Day, more of the likes of Nathan are needed to save lives. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Blood, they say, is life, and people who donate blood are termed life givers. Hence, the World Blood Donor Day raised awareness of the need for regular unpaid blood donation and celebrate the donors for their determination to save lives. Ifoma Aikoje takes a look at blood donation and its role in effective healthcare delivery.
Safe blood and blood products, as well as safe transfusion, have remained critical aspects of care and public health as they save millions of lives and improve the health of many patients, especially those with chronic diseases.
Blood plays a very critical role in healthcare management and especially for those who need it to stay alive.
Different cases like that of road traffic accidents.
It is obviously for these reasons and more that the World Health Organization marks an annual observance to raise awareness and call for action, the need to provide adequate resources and infrastructure to increase the collection of blood.
There's a particular equipment that we require. It's called cold centrifuge or apheresis machine. With this equipment, we can fractionate 1 unit of blood for use by 4 different people.
The only way you can appreciate the gifts of God in your life, the gift of good health, is to go out, donate freely.
We have about 12 to 14 liters, of blood that runs in our system, and taking 450 ml out of it is like just taking like a spoon of water in a glass cup.
To clear doubts, medical experts assure that the benefit of blood donation is a two-way gain. In Uyo, Ifoma Aikoje, NTA News.
And to speak further on the World Blood Donor Day, I'm being joined in the studio by Dr. Kinsley Odiabara. He's the Director, Laboratory Quality National Blood Transfusions here in Abuja. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, now it's World Blood Donor Day. What would you say for Nigeria in terms of our blood donation? What is our capacity?
Thank you very much. In Nigeria, the capacity for voluntary blood donation is relatively low.
Okay.
We are aware and we know that blood transfusion is taking place in the hospitals. Unfortunately, the bulk of this blood that is transfused at the hospital is either from relatives, which we term family replacement donors, or purchased outrightly from people who have consigned themselves to commercial donation. Of course, this is against the norms in developed countries. It is also against the standards that is prescribed by the World Health Organization, because research have shown that the safest blood is the one that is coming from somebody who voluntarily and willingly donates that blood without collecting anything like payment or remuneration. That donation is coming from a heart that is willing to give, a heart that wants to save somebody.
Yes, and while we're appreciating the extraordinary efforts of these voluntary blood donors, you talked about blood shortages. How do we bridge that gap, the challenge of blood shortage?
Whether we believe it or not, and whether we like it or not, there will always be medical conditions that will require blood transfusion.
Yes.
And then for us here in Nigeria, also looking at our growing population, you also look at the level of development, because that again adds to the needs. For instance, in undeveloped countries and economies, such as ours that have bad roads, bad road networks, and then poor public health approaches and institutions, and then an attitude of the people as a result of lack of knowledge. So what happened is you have increased cases of situations that will require blood transfusion.
But are there campaigns going on aside a day like this to encourage people to voluntarily come out?
That's why you are here. And I want to say kudos to the NTA and other media houses that have made up your mind and have devoted efforts. You've made reasonable efforts to increase the awareness by preaching the message of voluntary blood donation. However, it is grossly inadequate because until the message is accepted by the people and it becomes a culture of the people, particularly our upcoming youths, until they imbibe the message of voluntary blood donation, we shall continue to have problems of shortages and inadequacy. On the other hand, there's increased demand for uptake of blood. We have very high rates of infant and maternal mortality in this country. Our health system is still undergoing strengthening. In fact, there is still more to be done in terms of building capacity and strengthening even the system in terms of provision of technology.
All right, we'll definitely get there, but of course it's good to encourage people so we can give blood and keep the world beating.
Certainly
Thank you very much. Yeah. He is the Director of Laboratory and Quality National Blood Transfusions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, more on health issues. Health Information Management Professionals is developing a digital platform to strengthen its operations in line with global best practices. Correspondent Murjanatu Adam Sahid reports that this came to the fore at the Professional Strategic Engagement in Abuja.
This meeting is to re-establish the culture of excellence in health information management, practices, education, training and research. As Nigeria's healthcare records go paperless, these experts say the privacy, confidentiality and safety of health information must be managed by certified health information managers in order to ensure the best patient care in Nigeria.
Without all the daily data that NCDC has been churning out, and this is, based on professionals such as this. And those data have also helped us to make daily, sometimes per minute, policy decisions. We're enforcing the implementation of our policies, and once we do that, we will get the outcome for which we intended the policies to achieve, which in this case is improved health outcome.
At the level we're operating in Nigeria, the feeling of people is that Nigeria doesn't have any data on health. That may not be completely true. We have data, but the planning and the use of those data, that's where the gap are.
There will always be challenges, gaps in data collection until policymakers and implementers appreciate the need to use professionals in collecting, managing, processing, disseminating, and using data.
This meeting is to usher in a good health record system in Nigeria, which is key to achieving goal number 3 of the Sustainable Development Goals, which provides that all nations must ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all ages. In Abuja, Murjanatu Adam Said, NTA News.
All right, let's go on a break. We're back, so please stay tuned.
My name is Nancy Oyedia Orom. I'm AIT correspondent. I've been covering the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 the last 1 year. I just took the jab, the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and it was seamless. And I was opportune to take these vaccines with the SGF, the ministers. So I want to use this medium as a journalist for someone who has experienced COVID in the last 1 year. I want to implore media houses, broadcast industries. Let's join hands together to propagate the good information out there for people to believe in these vaccines. That's the only way we can have health immunity and also achieve the projection and target of Nigeria come 2022. Well, I must implore all Nigerians to go out there, register on the Primary Healthcare Development Agency website. These vaccines are free for all Nigerians. Go to the website, register. It is free for you and I.
On the wings of democracy, Nigeria celebrates June 12. Issues of progressive democracy and nation building on focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. promises to be incisive and educative. Join us.
The president has made a clarion call.
No one can do it better than ourselves.
We are Nigerians.
Let's together share our rich products, cultural heritage, and great talents with the rest of the world.
We are Nigerians.
Relevant stakeholders are joining the campaign, calling on fellow compatriots to come on board.
Be part of Made in Nigeria Expo, coming on the 15th to 19th of June 2021 at the Eagle Square, Abuja.
Made in Nigeria Expo is brought to you by
the Interministerial Committee on Nigeria at 60 Expo, in collaboration with Business Visa and Trainings Company Limited.
Welcome back. Emir of Zazzau, Ambassador Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, has described as unacceptable frequent attacks by bandits in Zazzau Emirate and Kaduna State, calling on various military and other security formations in the state to intensify surveillance to prevent such incidences. The Emir made this position known during a meeting with security chiefs who paid him a visit at his palace in the ancient city of Zaria. Mohammed Umar Ajingi reports that heads of security agencies took turn to reassure the Emir of their commitment to tackling the ugly incidents. The attack and kidnap of staff and students at Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic, Zaria, and Saturday's attack on Kofarangayan and Galadimawa are the most recent in the Emirate. All right, we'll now join our correspondent Hamza Musa Makarfi, who is live at the Kofarangayan in Kaduna, rather. He's going to give us an update on the situation on the Kofarangayan kidnap. Mohammed, Hamza, I beg your pardon, please tell us what's going on at the moment.
Ruth, thank you very much. Actually, welcome to Kaduna. Of course, like you rightly said, security chiefs some few hours ago met the Emir of Zazzau, His Royal Highness Ambassador Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, and the conversation was actually very, very positive. Tasking the security agencies to do the needful in order to ensure the security of lives and property within the Emirate and even beyond. And of course, the security agencies are pledging, promising that that is exactly what they are expected to do. That is their mandate. And to give you additional information also, the incident at Nubo Mali Polytechnic, now we understand that security personnel have been posted to the institution in order to secure the environment and give confidence to the people within that community. A lot is ongoing to ensure that the confidence of the people is restored. People should go about doing their normal businesses in spite of the challenges which the security agencies promise. They are doing everything possible to ensure that lives are secured, properties belonging to the people are also secured, life goes normally. With me to shed more light on perhaps keeping the discussion on, keeping the conversation to continue with respect to what the nation and its people should be doing on security matters. I have a security expert, Muhammad Ali. Thank you very much for joining me on this conversation. What should we continue to do as a people?
As a people, we should be up and doing. We should always be ready and very willing to pass credible information to members of the security agencies with which they can be able to convert into intelligence and do something that needs to be done in order to nip in the bud the current upsurge in kidnapping, banditry, and the economy of violence that we are witnessing, particularly in the axis of Zaria. But it is not Zaria alone. Kaduna State as a whole has turned into the epicenter of kidnapping. So something needs to be done, and quickly too. And I want to assure members of the public that the security operatives are not magicians. They work with information at their disposal. So we all have to be willing and ready to pass information to these agencies with which they can be able to assist us. But the moment we begin to hold information, the security agencies, they are not magicians, as I said. They need information. So we should feel free. Going to give information does not mean you'll be arrested. People should feel free to pass credible information to the security agencies with which they can work. Because the incidents in Zaria has happened because from within Kofar Gayan itself, there are certain houses that needs to be combed because some of the bandits live right there. So something needs to be done, and quickly too. But because this is a public fora, there are certain information that I need to circumscribe. I cannot actually disclose. This is the situation. But the security agencies are on top of the situation. And I want to assure members of the public that everybody should go about doing his businesses without any let or hindrance. But we must not hoard information. The little we hear, we should be willing and ready to pass it on to the relevant security agencies for immediate action.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate. And just to add to what perhaps is relevant here, the security agencies did foil an attack that took place yesterday evening. And to the credit of that operation, lives were saved, property of people were saved. Ruth.
Thank you very much, Hamza, for that. Of course, security is everybody's business, and information gathering is very critical. Thank you for your time. All right, let's continue from here. A look at Agric now. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture has created a platform for knowledge management and information sharing for all World Bank-funded agricultural projects. The initiative is aimed at improving productivity. We hear Musa Baba Aliyu will tell us more.
Federal government and World Bank-funded agricultural project is gradually contributing largely to the social and economic well-being of young and smallholder farmers.
There is need to package, to curate all these achievements and experiences and make it available for farmers, practitioners, project managers, extension specialists to make use of.
It is in the light of this that the success story and challenges in the implementation of the 6-year project is being documented to serve as a guide for related projects in future.
demonstrated technologies that are useful to cashew farmers, which they abide by, and the yield has tremendously improved.
A central online knowledge repository is being developed to document implementation experiences and lessons learned in the appeals project for sustainable institutional memory. Officers responsible for documenting and managing the platform were recently trained on knowledge management and information sharing.
The management component is going to help us to gather together our processes, our activities, the experiences learned, so that one is available for other users and stakeholders.
The knowledge as far as our agricultural operations are concerned, the new technologies is necessary that we should share and not hoard.
Implementation of the project has been on for 3 years now, with World Bank recognizing achievements made so far. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Niger State government says it will continue to adopt policies and programs that will enhance potential of the agricultural sector. Governor Abubakar Sani Bello, who flagged off the 2021 wet farming season and fertilizer sales, promised to protect the lives and property of farmers across the state. Husseina Musa reports.
A total of 15,000 metric tons of fertilizer have so far been delivered to designated government fertilizer stores across the 25 local government areas of Niger State. This is to enable farmers in the state buy the soil conditioner at government-approved subsidized price of 8,000 naira as against 12,000 naira that is being obtainable in the market. The state government, through its public-private partnership initiative, seeks to promote smallholder farmers' access to vital inputs in order to increase yield and ensure food security.
Yeah, and government is also doing everything well possible to make sure even those local governments that are facing security challenges, the government to try as much as possible to protect them, to allow them to farm in their farms so that we'll be able to have hampered harvest.
And we also have a central monitoring committee at the state level, comprising of security outfits we have in every area, the traditional institution, the council chairman, that will ensure that this fertilizer gets to the right persons.
I'm very happy to get the fertilizer. Very, very difficult to get, but now I have reduction here.
Our inputs for this year is going to increase.
Other inputs to be subsidized are hybrid seeds, herbicides, and insecticides, among others. In Mena, Hussein Musa, NTA News.
To complement federal government's effort in the management of ecological problems and other related matters, stakeholders in Kogi State have come up with suggestions that will help curb devastating effects of the challenges on people. Now, this was at the instance of the Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission. Let's hear more from Francis Udojo.
5 local government areas of Kogi State, including Lokoja, Basa, Koto, Ofu, and Ibaji, that fall among the hyperdeck power producing areas in Nigeria, had their representatives at the meeting. The event having created a platform for the stakeholders to air their views on the effect of ecological problems such as flood and how it affects them, registered their appeals to government through hyperdeck for the dredging of the rivers Niger and Benue.
Once that river is dredged down to the river Niger and a concrete wall is built around the distance to control further influx of sand to refill it, then we would have gotten right the problem of ecological degradation.
Request for the provision of boats to aid transportation, durable roads for farmers, construction of dams to absorb waters and for irrigation purposes, provision of basic amenities to alleviate the sufferings of the affected areas, top list of items urgently needed.
Most communities have not recovered from the flooding of 2012.
Support we expect from you for dealing with accommodation of fleeing victims of the flood.
We're going to look at each community and decide what we can do for them according to their own priority.
The government is working out modalities on how to carry out intervention according to magnitude of the degraded of each site.
It is generally believed that economic activities will be greatly improved if the federal government goals in setting up the Hyperdeck Commission is well utilized. From Lokoja, Francis Sudojo, NTA News.
All right, let's head to Lagos now. Awal Jibo is standing by. He's going to bring us the next set of reports. Awal? Awal?
Thank you, Ruth. Lagos House of Assembly is working on a bill to ensure that residents are encouraged to rescue victims without fear of prosecution and protect the right of witnesses when the need arises in any part of the metropolis. This was evident during a plenary session where the bill on victims and protection of witnesses killed the second reading in Lagos. Musa Toliat has details.
Accidents are unexpected occurrences that leave casualties in their trail. When these happen, eyewitnesses often assume the role of good Samaritans to rescue victims and take them to the nearest medical facility to avoid needless fatality. The bill on victims assistance and witnesses protection seeks to ensure that good Samaritans are not unduly punished for offering to help victims, while hospitals will be compelled to administer treatment on victims without police report.
The bill for such can be recouped from a fund that is created by this, because this bill is creating victims' rights and witness protection fund.
Protection of witnesses to aid speedy dispensation of justice in courts of law is also an integral part of the bill. The bill would not only help protect victims, it will provide assistance in the event of disaster.
Section 4 of that bill talks about the right and entitlement of the victims.
Other lawmakers took turns to give insight into some aspects of the bill.
In addition to that, he talked again about child's rights and entitlement. It's not limited to only the adult.
And in this particular case, this bill is out to protect the interests of average, even the common man.
Those who are in position to give witness can also come out boldly, and by doing this, it will ensure eradication of crime within our society.
The Speaker, however, committed the bill to the House Committee on Judiciary to report back in 2 weeks. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And now to security. It is often said that the strength of an army is not in its number, but the level of discipline and commitment. How to promote these winning qualities among officers and men of the Nigerian Army at this critical time of security challenges in the country is the focus of a development seminar organized for senior officers in Lagos. Lynn Leneke has details.
For the Nigerian Army, which is currently engaged in asymmetrical warfare on so many fronts in the country, the task of securing the nation has become more complex, demanding a force which is not only modern in its military approach, but also fully committed to do the job. Gathered in this hall are senior officers of the Nigerian Army whose tactical decisions at various commands and theaters of war shape outcomes in the current war against insurgency in the country. They are not here to plan a new mission, but rather to exchange ideas, acquire new skills, and map out ways of achieving effective collaboration with other security agencies towards getting better results.
The battle space cut across terrestrial and cyber domain with the employment of digital infrastructures and platforms which are constantly being updated. This suggests the importance of leaders with requisite skills at various levels of command to effectively cope with the dynamic environment.
Dwelling on the need for more discipline and commitment to national cause, officers were encouraged to leverage on knowledge gained from the training and promote admirable traits among troops in the various theaters of operations. 50 senior officers across the country benefited from the first phase of the Nigerian Army School of Finance and Administration's training. In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Nationwide. Ruth is standing by in Abuja with more reports. Ruth, it's back to you.
Thank you, Awal. But we're also going to take another stop in Sokoto, where we join us, Mao. Okay, we'll definitely join Asmao very shortly, but let's pick up from here. The Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mohammed Nami, says to effectively address tax evasion, there is need for partnership between the agency and the law-making arm of government. He said this during an appearance before the House Committee on Public Accounts. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The FIRS boss, whose appearance was on invitation of the committee, noted that tax evasion is a challenge across the world, but when the right laws are in place, such actions are minimized. He stressed the need to review relevant laws and policies that would enhance operations of the revenue service to improve tax collection. Mr. Nami explained that FIRS has not granted tax waiver to any firm, local or foreign, adding that such power lies with Nigeria Investment Promotion Council, NIPC, and other appropriate agencies.
When you claim to operate in a free trade zone, you must file tax returns with us, giving us your bank statement and everything, so that we realize if truly the production and services you are rendering were actually exported. If they are exported, there will be evidence of how the money flows from that country to Nigeria. So if we discover that significantly it was the revenues were generated in Nigeria, you are meant to pay taxes.
Chairman of the committee, Oluwole Oke, said the House of Representatives will engage other agencies to source information towards curbing tax evasion.
Oil and gas free trade zone on it. There are a lot of sharp practices there. Sharp practices. And it is on this note that my colleagues, that the MD of oil and gas trade zone, free trade zone on it, should cause appearance on the 17th.
Minister of Trade and Investment and NIPC have been invited to appear before the committee. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
All right, it's that time. Let's join Sokoto. Asmao is ready for us. Asmao.
Thank you, Ruth, and a warm welcome to Sokoto. The synergy between the Nigeria Customs Service and the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has led to the seizure of illegal drugs worth over 22 million naira in Kebbi State. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu reports.
The Nigeria Customs Service Kebbi Area Command handed over to the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency Kebbi State Command confiscated 362 kilograms of cannabis and 199 sachets of 1,000 pieces of diazepam tablets. The comptroller in charge of Kebbi Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service, Hafiz Kalla, said the handing over of the drugs was in compliance with the directive of the Controller General of Customs, Colonel Hamid Ali. He assured NDLEA of continued support, cooperation and synergy to rid the country of illicit drugs.
Has from January to date recorded a total number of 47 seizures of all unassorted goods, with a spectacular seizure of 751 bags of 50 kilograms foreign rice.
Receiving the drugs, the Kebbi State Commandant of the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, Peter Odaudu, called for more synergy among security agencies in the fight against drugs inflow to the state. He thanked the Kebbi State Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service for the seizure.
I want to appreciate every security agency in Kebbi State. Our synergy and our cooperation here is unparalleled, and I'm sure we'll keep it up.
Stakeholders at the event urged people in the state to provide security agencies with intelligence reports that will help in the fight against illegal drugs to reduce criminality and insecurity in the state. Abdullah Umar Ilalu, NTA News.
The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami's son, has reaffirmed the commitment of President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration to ensuring financial autonomy for the state's parliament and judiciary. Malami made the remarks while flagging off the presentation of vehicles to the magistrate, the Sharia court judges, and other senior judicial officers in Zamfara State. Jamilu Ibrahim reports.
Worried by the lack of mobility amongst Sharia court judges, magistrates, and some other senior judiciary staff, Zamfara State government recently procured 104 official vehicles for distribution to the officers as part of measures to facilitate speedy dispensation of justice in the state. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami flagged up the distribution of the vehicles to the beneficiaries as part of activities marking second anniversary of the PDP-led administration in Zamfara State. Malami reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to ensuring the independence of the state judiciary anchored on constitutionalism and respect for the rule of law.
The signing of Executive Order Number 10 by President Muhammadu Buhari was aimed at reinforcing and complementing Section 121, Section 3 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended.
Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad said the provision of the vehicles to the judges and other judicial officers is in line with the state government's determination to provide a conducive atmosphere for speedy dispensation of justice in the state. Meanwhile, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami has also inaugurated the newly constructed presidential lodge at the Zamfara State Government House, Gusau. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
And that's it from Sokoto. Is back to Ruth in Abuja.
Yes, Mao. Leaders of tomorrow have become a regular cliche for describing Nigerian youths. For We FM Abuja, getting these youths prepared for the task of nation building should go beyond mere rhetorics, but should involve deliberate education. This is why they are celebrating this year's Democracy Day with a debate on Nigeria and democracy for children of school age in Abuja. Ekene Ndulwe reports.
Some people, most of these kids are too young to discuss governance in Nigeria, but not We FM Abuja. The station seems to believe that getting children consistently involved in national issues is a major part of building a better Nigeria. This year's We Talk Championship and other similar educative programs, organizers say, are strategic in inculcating leadership qualities in the future generation. But what do these young ones know about democracy?
Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Democracy is a system of government that bases its legitimacy on the participation of the people.
Democracy means a lot to me, so I appeal to our government if they can help us make Nigeria a better country for us.
Organizers of the event and guests, among them Director General Nigerian Television Authority Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, who was represented, took turns to encourage Nigerian youths to adopt the right attitude for a successful future.
We're trying to teach them, again, how to have conversations that were ordinarily considered to be difficult. You can talk about religion without getting into a fight. You can talk about ethnicity without getting into a fight.
NTA is here, tells a lot about the commitment of the organization in doing more for the children's mental capacity to be developed.
Nigerian children are our future, and that we as parents should take good care of them, instill in them patriotic values.
As the event ends, consensus among those present is that parents have a duty to ensure their kids stay on the right track. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
And still talking democracy, guests on NTA Good Morning Nigeria have applauded 22 years of uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria as a major achievement worth celebrating. They are, however, unanimous that the nation's democracy is still work in progress, as instituting electoral reforms is critical to addressing identified gaps in electioneering process. Lydia Sampson reports.
Advent of Nigeria's uninterrupted democracy in 1999, critical socio-political governance structures have been put in place by several administrations towards addressing challenges of corruption, poverty, and inequality in the country. While the efforts of successive administrations at deepening democracy in the last 22 years were highlighted, the need to rise above ethno-religious sentiments which promote divisive tendencies was identified as a major step towards entrenching development.
In the last 22 years, then you are seeing a process by which parliaments, state, national, trying to rebuild themselves and to gain national acceptance. The judiciary also struggling to really assume their full responsibility. The media, which is the fourth pillar, as they say, of democracy, you know, the military had haunted and had shackled the media. So everyone is trying to, you know, reconstruct themselves.
If the governors had given the monies of local governments, there would be agriculture at that level. There would be some intervention in infrastructure at that level. There will be governance at that level. What happens today is that chairmen of local governments and local government officers only go to work when there is allocation has arrived.
To stimulate greater participation and faith in the democratic process amongst Nigerians, the guests called for the passage and implementation of critical electoral reforms, as well as respect for the rule of law.
Also internal challenges which we need to look at very critically, especially in terms of leadership of the various institutions of government. It's important for them to also do some kind of self-reflection.
I would always push for more democracy. However, while we celebrate democracy this year, I think there's a lot that needs to be done.
Promotion of fairness, equity and justice, as well as addressing inequalities, will go a long way in strengthening Nigeria's democracy and making it a model. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Our next up will be Port Harcourt, and Doris is set to guide us. Doris.
Good evening and welcome to Port Harcourt. River State Governor Nyesom Wike says the politics of winner-takes-all syndrome does not promote development and urge political leaders to attract development that will benefit the generality of the people. The governor stated this at the flag-off of the Ogbakri internal roads in Emoha local government area of River State. Ogedi Yekwere reports.
The importance of good road network to the economic development of any society cannot be overemphasized. The flag-off of the construction of the Obakre internal road no doubt will redefine the social and economic narrative of the communities by opening up more areas and connecting them to the city. Governor Wike urged political leaders of communities to work towards attracting development to their areas. He said the politics of winner-takes-all syndrome is a clock in the wheel of development and progress.
We want the roads to be done. And that's what politics is all about your own people, not about your own... But today, our 16 kilometers for 2 works, it means that you can benefit more things.
The special guest, Chief Sergeant Ahuse, who flagged off the construction of the road, lauded the developmental strides of the governor in Emoha local government area. He promised the people of Emoha will continue to support his administration.
Wherever he goes is where we go. You've done for us what we will not have gotten.
The 15-kilometer Obakre internal road traverses the 6 communities in the town. Upon completion, it will be a single carriageway with a total width of 8 meters. In Obakre, Ogedi Yekwere, NTA News.
Governor Udom Emmanuel says the challenges facing Nigeria can be surmounted when the right leadership is in place. The governor made the assertion when the South-South Executive Committee of the People's Democratic Party visited him in Government House, Uyo. Susan Asuko reports.
On a daily basis, the state and the country at large are faced with daunting challenges ranging from insecurity, unemployment, incessant industrial action from different trade unions, economic downturn, among others. These challenges have become a source of concern to many, including those in position of authority. During a visit by South-South Zonal Executive Committee of the People's Democratic Party, Governor Udom Emmanuel posited that leadership remains the only key that can create positive impact in the lives of the people. He admitted that the superlative performance of governors in the PDP is receiving accolades across the country.
If we really mean business that we want to do democracy, then let's do it right. We've tried it over the years based on the fact that it's a borrowed something, and we are succeeding so far. So now we can sit back, streamline, get things, dot the I's and cross the T's and move on.
The PDP National Vice Chairman, South Chief Dan Obi, hinted that the visit is one of the decisions by the South Executive Council to visit the state in the region.
At a time of economic recession, you have brought to bear your sound economic background as a seasoned banker to bear in the management of the resources of this state.
In Uyo, Susan Asukwo, NTA News.
That's our beat on Port Harcourt. Nationwide continues after the break with Abubakar in Maiduguri.
The much anticipated UEFA Euro 2021 is finally here. Can Portugal defend the title they won 4 years ago as they face world champions France, Europe giants Germany, Spain, Italy and England? Catch all the action via live transmission, in-depth studio analysis, fixtures, results, updates, and lots more on NTA, Africa's largest TV network. For sponsorship and advert placement, contact Bola on 08037044286 or Idris on 08034633644. This broadcast is proudly brought to you by NTA in partnership with Media Business Solutions, MBS Sports.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Thanks for rejoining us on Nationwide, and we're live from NTA Maiduguri Zonal Network Center. Borno State Government has released 75.6 million naira for the monthly payment of 15,000 naira to people living with disabilities to discourage them from street begging. Pauline Kujevana was at the sports center venue of the cash distribution and now reports.
More than 3,000 people with special ability that comprises blinds, lepers, deaf, cripples and aged received their monthly stipends of 15,000 naira, a gesture embarked by Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum since assumption into office to discourage them from street begging. This development has drastically reduced the number of street beggars on the highway and other social problems associated with that, thereby making some of them self-reliant. Apart from the blind, who are being paid directly monthly due to their condition, others are being paid through their bank accounts, but decided to combine all for direct payment in order to update record.
We brought all this group of people, excluding all the youths, for us to pay them cash and give them warning that we will enforce their arrest and prosecution when we see them begging on the main road. We have 35 people who are physically fit. When we asked them why are they collecting the money, they said they are initially lepers, but they got drugs and they were cured. We have their money now with us. The area of blind, one of the women I got was, she put rope in her eyes. So we are paying this money inside the account. Unknown to us, some of them are claiming they liaise with some of the unpatriotic leaders of their groups.
For those whose names were not captured, the commissioner pledged to forward their case to Governor Zulum for onward inclusion, even though he said there are cases of some coming from outside the state. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Professor Babagana Umara-led administration in Borno State has executed 500 cluster of projects in the last 2 years of stewardship. This was brought to the fore during a ceremony organized to mark the Democracy Day, where Governor Zulum assured people of the state of more developmental projects in the remaining period of his administration. Mohammed Goni reports that the occasion had in attendance dignitaries from all walks of life.
Governor Bagana Umara said, though giant strides have been made in the last 2 years, with over 556 cluster of projects and programs across the state, as well as improvement in the security situation, there is need to do more, especially in the area of support for security operatives, manpower recruitment, especially qualified teachers and health workers, development in the agricultural sector and access to farmlands for food security, opening up more roads and township for resettlement and entrenchment of civil authority and good governance, among others.
In the span of 2 years of our administration, we have with all modesty touched every aspect of our lives, of the lives of our people, positively, and we shall strive to do even more, inshallah.
Secretary to the State Government, Usman Jidashua, who dwelt on the rationale behind the Democracy Day celebration, said, in all his years of experience as public servant, he had never worked with any leader of Zulum's leadership attributes. Information Commissioner Babakura Abajato made evidence-based graphic presentation of the 556 projects, giving the sectoral breakdown and benefiting local government areas. There were goodwill messages from the traditional institution led by the Shehu of Borno, Abakar Ibn Umar Garba El Kanemi, Senator Mohamed Alim Dume representing the Senate, Barrister Mohamed Tahir Mongono, who spoke for the House of Representatives, State Assembly led by the Speaker Abdul Karim Lawan, Borno Elders Forum, security formation in the state represented by the Garrison Commander, as well as the organized labor, assuring the governor of continued support to enable him do more for the state. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
And that will be it from Maiduguri. Let's now return to Ruth in Abuja. Ruth, do enjoy the rest of the evening.
Abubakar, you too. About 3,000 youths have so far been trained in Umuahia North and South local government areas of Abia State in the ongoing skills acquisition program and have been empowered to start their own petty businesses. Steve Lona Wankolo reports that 2 girls from Kaduna State were part of the set that just passed out.
The capacity building program, which began since last November, has continued with these youths who were before now unemployed. They were engaged in a 3-week intensive training in the areas of cake and pastry making, bead and wiring works, hair and hair tie making, hair cutting, as well as makeups, manicure and pedicure. 2 of the beneficiaries are from Kaduna State, but resident in Umuahia.
I can do my makeup properly now, very, very well.
So with this skill, I believe I will go a long way. It has empowered me already.
If you have something doing, you will not think otherwise to do something evil or go after men.
Like low cuts, round cuts, I didn't know it before, but now I know all of them. So many things are.
To urge them to take seriously everything they have learned and ensure that they utilize those skills in providing for themselves and their families.
The empowerment training for the youths continues. In Umuahia, Steve Lonai, Waokolo, NTA News.
And next is Sports Update.
Newly crowned champions of the Maiden North Central Invitational Tourney, Team Kwara are still basking in the euphoria of their victory over Team FCT after winning by 11 runs. Team Kwara posted 62 runs and lost 4 wickets in the first innings, while Team FCT lost 5 wickets, posting 51 runs in the second innings.
I feel very excited about the match. We won. We played 3 games and we won it all. Although we were prepared for this tournament because and we came here and we have to do what we have to do, and we came and we conquered, and that's a great thing for me.
And now to football. Representatives of FCT to the National ITO Cup, Nigerian Air Force FC and Beautiful Tall Angels have promised to make Abuja proud when the competition gets underway later in the year. Both teams were crowned champions on Sunday, having defeated their rivals to pick the sole tickets to represent FCT.
We have a very good chance to do well in the National Challenge Cup because football is not played outside, it's played in the pitch. By God's grace, we are going to do well. We have a good team. Any team we meet, by God's grace, we are going to defeat.
Denmark team doctor says Christian Eriksen was gone,
but tests conducted so far looks normal. He said he was gone. We did cardiac resuscitation. It was a cardiac arrest. How close we were to losing him, I don't know, but we got him back after one defeat, so that's quite fast. Christian Eriksen collapsed on Saturday in an Euro 2020 match between Finland and Denmark. Clement Oloruntoba, NT News.
Right, we're done with Nationwide. Thank you very much for your company. But don't forget the fight against rape and rapists is still on. Let's do it together. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.